Today, PepsiCo generates over $70 billion a year. But to reach that monumental scale, the company first had to die, twice. In 1889, a pharmacist named Caleb Bradham invented a sweet, carbonated syrup he called Brad's Drink. Hoping to capture the market already dominated by a certain competitor, he quickly gave it a snappier, much more familiar name, Pepsi-Cola. That imitation strategy worked, until in World War I. Bradham gambled that sugar prices would spike, stockpiling enormous amounts of it. But instead, the market collapsed. Left with an impossibly overpriced inventory, he went bankrupt and was forced to sell his entire company for a mere $30,000. The new ownership tried to keep the brand alive, but the economy was unforgiving. By 1931, as millions of Americans stood waiting in breadlines, Pepsi-Cola went completely bankrupt a second time. At that exact moment, Coca-Cola had already cemented its towering dominance. It was an undisputed global monopoly, sold all over the world with seemingly infinite resources. A heavily indebted, twice-failed copycat does not survive against a global monopoly by playing the same game. To live, Pepsi would have to abandon its original identity and rewrite the rules of the cola industry. When Charles Guth bought the ruins of Pepsi in 1931, he made a critical calculation. Coca-Cola had decades of brand legacy that he could never replicate, so he stopped trying to outmarket them and decided to undercut them instead. He priced a 12-ounce bottle of Pepsi at exactly 5 cents, which only bought 6 ounces of Coke. Broadcasting twice as much for a nickel gave consumers a financial reason to switch, rapidly scaling volume with new bottling operations across the country. This maneuver kept the company alive. Instead of trying to mimic Coca-Cola's prestige, Pepsi exploited their rival's rigid pricing structure to establish a firm foothold in the market. By the 1950s, a massive advertising push under CEO Alfred Steele multiplied Pepsi's profits, but they soon hit a hard ceiling. Coke still outsold them 5-1, anchored by the sheer power of their slogan, "The Real Thing." Pepsi realized they could turn that legacy against their rival. If Coca-Cola was the classic, original choice, then logically it was considered the drink of an older generation. To capture the booming youth market, Pepsi launched the Choice of a New Generation campaign. By 1964, they introduced Diet Pepsi, explicitly targeting a younger demographic looking for something fresh. They escalated this attack with the Pepsi Challenge. By putting a blind taste test directly in front of consumers, they proved that younger palates actually preferred the sweeter flavor of Pepsi over Coca-Cola. In 1984, they shattered endorsement records by signing Michael Jackson for $5 million. He was at the peak of his fame, and tying him to Pepsi solidified their status as the cultural leader for young consumers. Within a single year, the numbers reflected this massive shift. Pepsi began consistently outselling Coca-Cola in supermarkets, sending waves of panic through Coke's headquarters in Atlanta. By weaponizing demographics, Pepsi evolved from a cheap alternative into an aggressive cultural insurgent. They took Coca-Cola's deep history and successfully painted it as a liability. Winning the supermarket aisle was a victory, but it exposed a structural flaw. Surviving strictly as a participant in a cola duopoly meant that if consumer tastes ever shifted away from soda, the entire company could collapse. In 1965, Pepsi merged with Frito-Lay to create PepsiCo. This move expanded their footprint into the snack market, allowing them to effectively claim entire sections of the grocery shelf. This diagram maps their aggressive expansion. Branching out from a single cola brand, PepsiCo purchased fast food chains and eventually acquired Tropicana and Quaker Oats. Alongside this diversification, they achieved massive geographic reach, becoming the first U.S. product manufactured within the Soviet Union. Pepsi survived its bankrupt origins by learning that you cannot defeat a giant by imitating them. Through continuous reinvention, first as a value option, then as the choice of a new generation, and finally as a diversified conglomerate, they ensured they would never again be relegated to the shadow of Coca-Cola.